at that? But what would happen if this pen didn't write anymore? You throw it away. Why? Because it doesn't do its purpose. What is its purpose? To write. And we're coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California. I'm your host, Yusuf Estes, and tonight we've got the doctors. That's right. Not one, not two, but count them, 3 medical doctors with us tonight. And one of them is a female. Yes. We wanted to get this PC politically correct anyway. Let's start with Dr. Adam. Assalamu alaikum, doctor. How are you tonight? How's everything going?
Thank you so much. Doing great.
MashaAllah. Well, we hear your voice. There's your picture. There. Assalamu alaikum. And I think it's time for us to bring up Dr. Sultan. Dr. Sultan, how are you?
I'm perfectly fine. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, don't forget that you won't show up if you don't make a noise. So, alhamdulillah. Yeah, mashallah. And Sister Emily. Mashallah. Okay, well, we've got Sister Emily, Dr. Emily. Let's give her title too. There's
Dr. Sister Emily.
Dr. Sister Doctor. Dr. Sister Doctor. Which, how do you like that anyway?
However you want it.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's, I don't know why it came up wrong, but let's see if we get it better position. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah, it looks nice. All right. So, okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. MashaAllah. Great to have all of you with us tonight. And what we wanted to do is find out, first of all, I want to talk about something that is all of us are concerned about, the virus. But then the second thing is, I would like to particularly talk about something that deals with the mind. And of course, with Dr. Emily with us, we wanted to focus on that. But it also deals with the heart, and that is the subject of regret. And we're going to have to exactly go to Dr. Adam for the Arabic because he's Arab. So, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. So, the word regret in Arabic language, how would we present that word?
We could say nadam, somebody who regrets something, becomes nadim.
Not nadam. Okay, I got that.
Nadim or nadima, depending on for a female, if somebody regrets.
So we put the I at the end of it if it's female.
Yes. So I could be nadim, I regret, my sins, my mistakes, and so on. And for instance, Sister Emily for the female, and then nadima, then she would be for the feminine, female person. And then,
let's get back to the subject. Okay, that later we'll do the dichotomy of the word. Okay, but right now let's talk about the virus itself. And by the way, a quick point, good news is tomorrow, inshallah, God willing, I'll get my first shot.
Should be free, by the way. Wherever you go, it should be free. There should be no charge. So thank you so much. This is just a brief update on the variants, because a lot of people have questions about the coronavirus variants. So I figured to pull some simple review to just tell people what's out there and what it means. So there is New York variant B1526. So this is was found and tested positive here in New York City last November. It is more transmissible, we don't know how effective the vaccines work in the long term, but there will be more data accumulating. And as soon as those data come out on all of them, certainly we'll share it with the audience. The second one was a South African variant, B1351. This was actually observed in South Africa in early October of last year and was announced in December. This, again, is more transmissible in January of this year, January 28th to be specific. It was found in South Carolina, so it's right here at home, and affected a few people.
Wow, how many of these are New York has their own one and South Carolina has their own one? I'm getting jealous. California should
Yes,
have
yes. Actually, you're going to get yours soon. So, third is the UK
A'udhu
version, B117. And again, this was the one in the United Kingdom. It's found in London and sometimes used to refer to as Kent variant because it's found in the county of Kent in UK. And again, there was a dozen countries that are affected, by it. And this variant also appeared to be more transmissible than the other strains. And the preliminary data suggested that it will be more lethal and more mutations coming down from this particular strand. Or variant. There are some other variants also that has been discovered. Brazil variant, which is P.1, as each one of them are referred to by like almost a code. And this was found in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil in July. And again, it has more transmissibility, and it has about a dozen alterations and mutations. And there is a specific protein that have a spike in it. That's why it can be identified by this particular protein. And Denmark, California mutation, which has a very long code, LA.
Denmark, California.
LA, because it's found right here in LA. And neck of the woods, found in
So
Denmark.
we already have our own virus from California. Wow.
It is, was discovered.
Have we got one for every state? Is that what you're going to name all 50 of them right now?
Well, I have two more. This is the California one was found to be infection in 44 of the state's 58 counties. This is we're talking about California. And this particular, it's called LA52R. And there is original variant, that's D614G. You don't have to memorize all that, but this was the original was discovered in China. So what I'm trying to say here, there will be more variants. Some of them so far, it seems that the wild vaccination is still effective, but it's still less effective than if somebody was just getting vaccination for the coronavirus 19. The most important thing we'll go back to emphasize, strengthen your own immunity, because if there's going to be tons of variants and so on, what are you going to do about it? There's not enough vaccines to go around and get that protection. But if you build that with good nutrition and good supplements and good lifestyle and stress management and so on, I believe that is the only sustainable way that everybody should be striving to achieve. Long, sustainable immune system enhancement and strengthening, rather than just respond by all this, because there are just so many of those variants. So I just wanted to mention that review just to let people kind of know about that and go back to square one, which is strengthen your immune system.
All right, good advice, very good advice. And I think that I want to put aside the humor for just a minute, because this is something that would change the whole aspect of what we're dealing with right now. Because with the immune systems in place, very few people would get this, and then obviously it wouldn't spread as fast either. So the immune system is where it should have started a long time ago. When we were little babies, people would, if they'd have been advised properly, then and took the advice, it would have been a lot different situation. Is that right, Doctor?
Yes, absolutely. And the mom have to take care of her nutrition, because that will affect the baby. Stay away from toxins, opiates, drugs like marijuana, all that, because that affects the child and vaping, all these things would affect the baby, development and immune system in a way that make them susceptible even in young age. So it's really it starts with the mom, then goes on with the nutrition and the proper habits, if you would, daily habits, and stay away from the toxins, and those who hang around people who consume toxins, because that's the negative effect of the bad peer pressure that we should let everybody know, especially young people, to kind of stay away from those who are pushing that or trying to pressure them to join in and doing things that are not good for their health.
All right. Okay. Let's ask Dr. Sultan what he's got before we go into the next part of our program. I'd like to just switch that out for a second. Dr. Sultan, say something so it'll switch.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm carrying on with what Dr. Adil said. The minute really starts with the conception. So if the mother is before conception is healthy, then the baby will be healthy. And it's extremely important that the mother follows the principles of good environment and good nutrition if she wants to have a good baby. So, in other words, what's the practical ways of, we just touched upon it. Number one is she should not smoke, she should not vape, she should not use any narcotic drugs, she should not use any illegal drugs, marijuana and other things. So in other words, no alcohol. So these are the very basic things that will ensure that the baby will be healthy. Then, on top of that, she should take a good multivitamin mineral as recommended by the gynecologist, because nutrition is very important during pregnancy. And your need for various nutrients increases tremendously. Most people do not realize that America may be the most most prosperous country on this earth, but as in terms of nutrition is very poor. Even government agencies tell that 80% of the population does not get enough amount of 80% of recommended daily allowance, which is just a very lousy amount of nutrients just to prevent disease. So therefore, the good multivitamin minerals come into picture. Then after that, she should have a good rest, good family situation, not so much psychological stress, because pregnancy itself is a big stress, and many women do not realize, or at least men don't realize, that how big of a stress pregnancy is on a woman's immune system. Because many times we see that women may come and, I was perfectly healthy, nothing wrong. After my first baby or second or third, I went downhill, because every pregnancy depletes a lot of nutrition from them. So these are the very basics. And then she should continue on with the healthy lifestyle, good sleep, and all the stuff. And so that will ensure that will be having a healthy baby. In Europe, there is a called preconceptual society or group, which helps mother even before they get pregnant to promote their good health. And when they say that yes, you are optimized health.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You're live, you're on the air with Guidance TV. Go ahead. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You are live on the air. Would you like to say something or ask a question to the doctors?
Okay. Now when you're busy.
We're obviously we're busy. We're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay. You will have an injection tomorrow. I'm from Canada.
All right.
People who take injection at 65. The mother and father take injection. Next day he dies.
Okay. So,
Careful, huh?
yeah. Well, how can we be careful of that?
Because it's risky.
No, I'm asking you how to be careful when you take the injection. Can you get it lower or upper in the arm or what?
No, no, have to take at all because people taking and dying.
How many? Yeah. Well, it was over. According to the press, they said over 100 million people were vaccinated here in the United States alone. So, what percentage of them died, please?
I don't know, Canada, people who take it dying.
Well, okay, I won't go to Canada to get it then. That's a good piece of advice. Don't go to Canada to get it because, according to our brother, it looks like everybody's dying out there. Is that right, brother?
Yeah, I just know dying everywhere dying because some people not have no strong human immune system.
Okay.
Immune system is strong. If you take first one or second one, maybe you cannot take it till you finish.
Okay. Well, I don't want to cut you off, but let's ask the doctor what about that. Dr. Adel, if you don't mind.
Yes, the brother mentioned a good point that if somebody has weak immune system, compromised immune system to start with, this has to be an individual decision based on the evaluation between the patient and the doctor on something called benefit-risk ratio. If the benefits outweigh the risk, then go for it. If it's going to be deleterious, which could be if it's injected in the wrong people where they really have a compromised immune system, then the best thing is not to give and then use something like black seed or some natural immune system with ginger, honey, lemon, like we discussed before, apple cider vinegar, and sun exposure, and do the good nutrition. All these are definite beneficial things. And yes, brother, there have been like one reported in Europe as of last night, actually, a death after getting one type of vaccination. Yes, it happened, but it's extremely rare, and the overwhelming evidence suggests that for people who do not have serious underlying immune system disease or very system that's compromised, they should have that decision with their physicians individually on individual basis. So that's the recommendation.
Yeah,
I'll add something practical to it because patients always ask me, what do you think about COVID shot? So here is my take on COVID shot. Number one, COVID is a serious disease. Don't get it because over 500,000 people have died just in the United States. So it's a serious disease. That's point one. And point number two is I have taken the vaccine myself because I do not want to take the chances. And again, as Dr. Adel mentioned, benefit-risk ratio. So I see that benefit is a lot more than I'm risking myself because I'm dealing with patients all the time. Somebody somewhere may come in, no matter how much cautious I am, I may get exposed to it. So I want to protect myself. So my advice to most of the people is go and get the shot. Don't hesitate to get the shot unless you have some serious medical issues. Then your physician can discuss it. Okay?
Okay. Brother, did you have any other comment you'd like to make to the doctors?
I'm not brother, I'm Mrs.
Oh, this is a sister. Oh, okay. Sorry. Go.
Okay, me, I read later to receive the injection, and I go at the CDC. He tells me, by your choice, you choose. I said, I choose, I know how to have it. That's it. Oh, okay, no forcing.
Sister, did you get the shot? Sister, did you get the shot?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think she's saying she did not get the shot. Is that right?
Yeah. You choose if you want to have it. The old people are dying of that, the most dying.
You're right. The most people who are dying from the virus are the old people, unless they get the shot. And if they don't get the shot, then they'll die. You're right.
Even die from the shock after that.
And let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? Yeah, because I'm a convert to Islam. Maybe I don't know everything, and maybe you know better than me. But if somebody dies was that already known to Allah before they died, or that they were going to die at that minute, or was that Allah didn't know it?
No, I don't know. This is advertising. Allah knows. You choose to have injection. Okay, I better die normally, regular from Allah, not from the injection. If I die from the injection, I don't like it. You know, you die from the injection. Better die regular, normally. God wants to take my life, God will it.
Well, that's your choice. Yep, and that is exactly the benefit of being in a free country. You can choose to live or die. Yep, and you made your choice.
By force, okay, I have a choice. By force.
Nobody
No,
forced
me,
you.
I don't. Yeah, nobody forced. Nobody forced.
Okay.
You choose, okay, I'm not going to. Better me die regular from Allah.
Yeah.
From the injection. If I die from the injection, like I know.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. So if to follow your idea, that what you're saying, so Allah did Allah put the virus out there, or somebody else did?
Everybody is from Allah. Everything comes
Okay, everything's from Allah. So Allah put something out there that's dangerous, and you don't want to take the thing that will keep it away from you. Okay, I get that. All right. That makes it a free choice to, yeah.
You get the sickness now? No.
Yeah, I'm not understanding what you're saying.
You sick already? No.
If you are sick, then you should not take it. Is that what the doctors are saying? Let me ask Dr. Sultan.
Yes, you should wait until the sickness is over. And then
Sister, what you're doing, you're going in a wrong circle, because you're saying if you have the sickness, take it. The doctors are saying definitely don't take it if you have the sickness. So the only way that a vaccination works is to take it before you get sick. Does that make sense or no?
No.
That makes sense to you?
Protect yourself. You take care of yourself, protect it. Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
So and how and
Wait, but do not die from the injection.
okay, but so you would rather die from the disease? I got that. I get it. If you're gonna die, you want to die from the disease that Allah gave us instead of the cure that Allah gave us. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, up to you, Allah.
Okay.
That's why I call you. I don't want you to die.
Thank you so much. But I don't care if whatever Allah decides for anybody, I'm okay with it, because if He decides I'm going to die while we're on the air, then that's what's going to happen. Is that right?
Yeah, well, like, if you decide that you die, maybe you fed up on this life, you want to die, huh?
Well, if I'm not on the air tomorrow night, well, you might want to check that out, because, that's always a possibility. Always a possibility. Not very likely, but it's a possibility. According to what we understand, that's maybe 1 in a billion chances, but maybe it's higher than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, because I know you hold me, I hold too. Over the 65, 85 years, people, even the exceptions, everybody wants it, you know. Some people like they take the first one, they take the second one, but after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, people die. I don't know that I hear. I don't know, maybe not everybody, you know.
Not quite everybody's dying. Yeah, I get that. I see that.
Just let me get the record straight. There's very, 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 very rare incidents of death, and there is a checklist that you go through on the form before you do it. If you had allergic reaction to previous, even a regular flu shot, people could have something called Guillain-Barré's, like ascending paralysis or other bad reaction. Those are, people raise red flags that should not, considered to have this, unless they are free and they have thorough exam and so on and so forth to see, to assess the risk benefit ratio. But I'm talking about for millions and millions and millions of people who need and want to be, get that extra protection. I don't think, there should be any problem. You may have a little bit of little soreness at the side of the injection, which is expected. I had it, and the first shot, it kind of burns a little bit, but minimal side effects. The serious side effects that you mentioned, it's extremely rare. But you know, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Aqila wa tawakkal." You take the precautions, you take every, you dodge your teeth, and and you do everything, but then after that, whatever happens, it's in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's how we make decisions every day, medically and otherwise in life, based on the evidence and evaluation, and then we leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ultimately.
Yeah, see, this brings up another same thing. What you're saying is, well, whatever Allah's will is going to happen, going to happen. No, Allah Ta'ala said that famous incident in Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, guy came in, the Prophet asked him, what did you do with your camel? He says, I left it to Allah Ta'ala. No, he said, first you tie the camel, and then you leave to Allah Ta'ala. And then also, another thing is that Allah Ta'ala has made certain laws by which the universe runs. For example, one of the laws is law of gravity. Well, you may come and say, I don't believe in law of gravity, God's will, God's will. Well, you can jump off the cliff and then see if the law of gravity exists or not. So you have to take precaution yourself. You're not testing the law of gravity.
Hold on. The lady's calling in from Canada, and she has a concern about our health, and I really do appreciate that. But as far as Islam is concerned, obviously anybody who has been in Islam even for a year knows how much that Allah intends for us to take advantage of anything that's good, that's been developed, especially the medical system that we have today was developed by Muslims over 1,000 years ago. So we should, as Muslims, really represent that in a positive way and not go off on these tangents and so on. So I do appreciate when somebody calls in and gives us an opportunity to think about it from another position, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you, sister, for calling us. Thank you.
Welcome. Have a good night.
Don't forget me in your dua, okay? Don't forget us from your dua, okay?
That's what I care for you, thinking about.
Yes, we need this.
Nobody. I have to listen nobody.
Yes, please pray for us. Thank you so much.
And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Likulli da'in dawa." So Allah will bring the disease, Allah will bring the cure.
Doctor, just saying salam to the ladies. Salam alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, go ahead, doctor. Go ahead.
Yes, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, thank you. He said, "Likulli da'in dawa." Allah bring the disease, and also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could bring the cure. So tadawu ya ibadallah. So you seek treatment and therapy. Rasulullah is encouraging us, and in Islam, really the pioneers that led the world in 15th century and during the peak of the knowledge and so on, they're the one who have diagnosed and treated so many diseases based on their faith. That what Rasulullah said about seeking treatment and seeking cure for disease and so on, and you take all your precautions, but ultimately nothing happens except for the will of Allah.
All right, we got another caller. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Walaikum salam. Sheikh, I have a question for you and for both of the doctors.
Well, there's 3 doctors out here. Let's include our sister Emily, okay?
Yeah. So I have depression issues. So I have a question for the doctors, like long-term depression medication. Do they have any direct connotation with like derailing memory, like memory losses? Because I
Okay.
am a full-time student.
Okay.
I am a full-time student.
Let's can you stay on the air with us just for a minute, because we have to take a break right now. We'll be right back. Okay, please stay with me on this. All right. Okay. All right. This is guys. This is going to be how you can watch Guidus TV. I'm going to add one to that when we come back. So stay tuned. Stay guided with.
Guidus TV.
Guidance TV.
And we are back. I told you it wouldn't be that long. There's another way that you can watch Guidus TV. And I want to emphasize that right now. And it's a very easy way to do it. It does not take up any space on your device, but you can download it. It's called the app. It's guideus.app, A-P-P, not .com, not TV. It's guideus.app, and it works, and there's no charge. It is free. There are no advertisements in it. There's no scamming in it. It's nothing haram in it, and it will not cure you of anything. But anyway, it is a nice thing to have on your device. Wherever you're traveling, if you have the internet, you got Guidus TV. And that's something I think that all of us should pay attention to and share. And now let's get back to our program already in progress. We have Sister Emily with us. Dr. Emily is with us. Salam alaikum, doctor.
Walaikum assalam.
Okay, sister, we have somebody on the phone. I'm going to let her ask her question again. For those who just tuned in, they wouldn't know about this. But sister, go ahead and ask your question to Dr. Emily.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Emily. I have a
Walaikum
question
assalam.
regarding I have a question regarding long-term depression. Long-term depression, does it have any direct relation with later attention deficit or memory losses? Like I am, as a patient, I'm feeling when I'm reading, I'm specifically facing hard time digesting a content, understanding, and I am having racing thoughts in between and doing repetitive reading. So I'm taking depression medication, and it's not something manic, but I just need to know, will there be any relation on that? And also to Sheikh, I have a question. What is
Well, let's do one question at a time. Let's take that first question and see what we got on that. Can you stay on the line with us and for the answer, sister?
Yeah.
Okay, here, Dr. Emily, if you don't mind, let's get her an answer.
All right. Sister, sometimes, actually one of the symptoms of depression is decreased concentration, decreased ability to pay attention and digest information, like you said. So, would you mind sharing do you know what kind of medication you're on?
I am taking, it's called abdur-raheem, like Abilify, and it's a low dose.
Okay. All right. So, have a lot of distractibility when you're when you're not treated adequately. So you said something about mania. Do you have manic depression?
No. I don't have manic depression. I have experiences of like episodes of where I am looking at agitated and angry, stuff like that. But recent years, I am more calm and more composed and controlling myself. But I'm having terrible difficulty when, especially, I'm dealing with reading materials, research articles, stuff like that. Then full of content, and I need to digest that within short time. I'm facing that I'm having attention deficit.
Well, as far as the concentration thing goes, it could be signs of inadequate treatment or needing to change your
Doctor, you're breaking up. I'm sorry, Sister Emily, you're breaking up really bad. We can't understand you. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah. I think you need to break
or
off.
if you're getting, if you're easily distracted.
Sister, please.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not coming through at all. I don't know. Maybe you said that she wasn't being treated adequately, or I don't know. But
Can you hear me now?
yes, I don't know what you changed, but we can hear you now. Yeah, everybody needs to know.
Okay.
By the way,
Sorry,
if you're using your phone, be sure to turn the speakerphone off. That will not work. If you're using your phone, don't use the speakerphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So. All right. So what I was saying is that it could be that your depression isn't treated to the point where it could be. So you're not, the dose isn't high enough on your medication. You might need a dose change. Or sometimes you can have a situation where you need to actually change the medication. And
Actually,
as far as,
Doctor,
did you say something about
yeah,
worrying?
let's try to get another way to handle this, because we can't give any kind of information over the phone because we don't really know who the person is and what but a person in general suffering from that. But don't use the pronoun you because that's too specific. Okay, we want to be sure that we're on the air tomorrow night. Otherwise, the other sister is going to.
So, with a person with depression having troubles with concentration, it could be that the level, the dose of your medication isn't strong enough that you need to go up on your dose.
You're using the term
or
you
it could
and
be
your
that
again, sister. I'm sorry, but I have to interrupt you because we cannot.
Am I breaking up again?
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll just go to the next question. Whether you have another question, what is the question, sister? Go ahead.
Sheikh, I have a question for you. I try to recite Quran, like I don't have that much. I'm not that apt in Arabic recitation. I try to do like translation also. So spiritually, can you give me advice, like for a depressive state when I'm really down? What dua should I exercise and what part of the surah should I recite?
For that, I'm going to ask Dr. Adil if he would like to give us some advice, and then I'll ask Dr. Sultana the same question. So let's do that right now. And see, Dr. Adil, are you still there? Go ahead.
Just very brief. Yes, there is a lot of medication and it's supposed to help depression, but they end up significantly affect the memory. Some to mention a few: amitriptyline, imipramine, tricyclic antidepressants, paroxetine. So there's quite a few of them. So if that's the case, you should discuss it with the psychologist or psychiatrist to change the medications, to try something new, a different way. Otherwise, this can go on and really be a life-limiting kind of situation. And I've seen this happening. And simple change of medication or adjustment of medication could make a huge difference in the way you.
Yeah, be
you know,
sure to talk to your doctor. But by the way, the question,
and this is so comforting to you. If you go to Surah Al-Baqarah, and maybe Sheikh, you can pull it up while we say it. Then you can listen to the English translation song. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا. This is very comprehensive. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين.
Yes, actually that's the very end of Surah Baqarah.
Yes, if you could just make this as a landmark.
Highly appreciated. I think that I had not even thought about that one, but yes, that's a beautiful one. Sister, did you get any answers that you needed tonight?
I'll add something to it.
Dr. Sultan has one more thing. Let's hear what he has to offer.
Okay, sister, let me give you my perspective, which you have not probably heard from anywhere before. Okay, our practice is environmental allergy. We see patients with all sorts of chronic illnesses, including physical and mental. See, in mental, we see people with depression, we see people with anxiety, memory, concentration, mood swings, mental fatigue, ups and downs, mood, all that stuff. So let me tell you, one of the greatest discoveries made in the field of environmental medicine is, contrary to the usual belief, most mental symptomology comes from physical causes, not psychological causes. You see, when you use drugs of all kinds, antidepressants, whatever, they just cover up the symptoms, the disease process continues on. So that's why even for decades and decades and decades, people are still on drugs. So our approach is treating the underlying cause. Many times it's environmental, what you eat, what you breathe, it's nutrition deficiency, hormonal problem, or whatever those are. So we fix them. If you want to have a really good resource, you can go on our website and look for depression and anxiety. You will see hundreds of success stories that have been treating by the causes, not drugs. We keep people off drugs, not on drugs, because that's the real key of helping with mental illness. So if you want, I can give you my website.
Okay, we can do that after the program. We'll give the information to the doctor, and we can converse with them, inshallah. All right. So let's go on back. Well, first of all, you had any more questions for us?
No, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, sister. I'm sorry I had to kind of interrupt several times there. But I want to be sure that we do two things. Number one, that we present as best we can for our listeners, but also that we can stay on the air by following along with the guidelines and the rules and regulations of the FCC. And one of those is that we don't give out any direct specifics, especially like in medicine or something like this, because it could wind up hurting somebody, inshallah. So sorry about that. Excuse me for butting in. But I did like very much that Dr. Adam was quoting the Qur'an, because that's really what we're all about here. Is Dr. Sultan and Dr. Emily will both agree right away that, you know, if it weren't for Allah, if it wasn't for Islam, none of us would be here.
There are a few other things, Sheikh, that could help her as well. The food that's rich in omega-3, fatty acids, that's very good to help with depression. Vitamin B6, B12, vitamin C, folate, magnesium, potassium, thiamine, and zinc. These are good, nutritional elements that will help to fight depression.
All right.
And I think you can get that in a prenatal vitamin, all of those.
Yeah, but what I was just about to say, Dr. Emily, maybe I'm wrong, because I'm definitely not a doctor of anything. So let me just ask it as a question. What Dr. Sultan was just saying was the things that you could eat or consume that would have those vitamins and minerals in them, and it would be much better to have it naturally instead of the form of a pill or a vitamin or something like that. Did I get that?
I completely agree. You know, a balanced diet, whole foods, and things like that. Like natural sources are best.
Yeah, Dr. Sultan, is that what you were trying to say, basically?
Yeah, that's what it is. But there's one reality of life also, of living in the United States, that our food line have been very seriously affected as far as the nutritional content is concerned, passing food and things like that.
So you're saying the food line is compromised. It's not as good as it might be some other parts of the world. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Or I'm to say, then I to say, there are organic farmers who does a very good job and have very good nutrition. I'm just talking about the food that is available for the masses. It is poor food, but organic food, non-genetically modified food, is a very good food, but is available to very limited people who have more money and more brain.
So,
And that's kind of why I am in between the supplementation and the diet, because if you really need that kind of, if you can't afford the really expensive organic stuff that we get the nutrients from, then you can supplement with this vitamin, this pill that has, or you can do supplements,
Dr. Emily, you mentioned
to get the levels that you need.
Dr. Emily, you mentioned the a prenatal. Is that what you said? Or something like that?
I just said that you can get the majority of those the vitamins and minerals that were mentioned in a prenatal vitamin, but it's a pretty big pill. So, but
again,
it takes care of, you don't have to swallow a bunch of pills,
Yeah, but again, maybe be sure to talk to your doctor about that, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely not trying to suggest go out and buy anything without talking to your doctor first.
And we're not giving out free medical advice to any particular individual. We're just giving them an overall picture to folks so that they can get an idea or a handle on where they should look and what they should be asking. So maybe modify our questions a little bit better. And by the way,
I also wanted to mention, though, I'm sorry for interrupting you, that there is this non-medication therapy called cognitive behavioral therapy, and it helps to treat depression and anxiety without any sort of medication, and it actually has a better success rate than a lot of the antidepressants. And it's actually based on a chronic tradition. So I don't know if you want me to talk about that on another day, but that's what I had prepared for tonight.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So I would like to, for the one who called in first, I would like to mention that my wife had the shot yesterday, and she's still alive today. MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
And happy.
Well, as happy as she can be married to me. I mean,
Laughter is the best medicine. People have to cope up with stress and fight depression.
And Egypt, by the way, Dr. Adel is from Egypt, and I never found a country, a whole entire country, as Egypt is for the humor. The unbelievable humor, even in the face of disaster and difficulties, but they have this humor and they bring it out, and you can see that the condition that they're talking about it's really hard. It's a difficult thing, but then they put this with a little bit of humor so that they can get through that. Is that right, Doctor?
Just laugh it off, and that's how you fight stress and actually become more resilient, so that you don't break. And there's a very important concept, in medicine and Islam: do no harm. Some of these medications really have horrible side effects. Antipsychotic, it's supposed to be helpful depression, but it ends up leading to suicide.
And that's the thing, when there shouldn't be a reason to add on an antipsychotic to an antidepressant if you have other antidepressants to try and they're not doing therapy. My recommendation is always to do no drugs without cognitive behavioral therapy if you're not willing to put in the work.
And if the drugs are showing side effects that's really harming the patient, then stop it and do no harm. This is very important.
Exactly.
Concept, in
First,
Islam.
do no harm.
Yes.
There's also, we talk about humor. So we talk about, when we talk about the underlying causes, we talk about, tack balls. You know what a tack is? A nail. You see, if you're sitting in a tack, it takes a lot of psychotherapy to make you feel good. Okay? The point is you cut the tack out.
Well, that's the thing is with cognitive behavioral therapy, it's kind of a self-directed therapy. So you kind of treat yourself, and the psychologist kind of sits there and reads your stuff.
Speaking of jokes and laughter, I'm a heart doctor, so the word in Arabic is qalb, right? It comes in with the qaf, qaf.
And the other word is dog.
Is the kaf, which is, another word, kalb means dog. So somebody is trying to flip the word heart into the word dog. So I keep telling him, it's a qalb with the qaf, not kalb with the kaf. It makes sense to anybody, but
So part of there are three parts of the tack law. The second part of the tack law is if you're sitting on two tacks, removing one does not result in 50% improvement.
And I just want to say on a more serious note that actually having good mental health, being mentally healthy, and having a good hold on, on your mental health in general can affect your immune system. It can help strengthen your immune system. And when you're not healthy, when you're not mentally healthy, you can have it can affect your immune system the other way too. So I think it's like we've been talking about with the virus, try and do everything that you can to improve your immune system. And laughter helps so much.
Exactly.
I like that. Laughter is the best medicine. I really like that. That makes
I have a variation of that one, but I don't think it's appropriate.
So I'm a heart doctor, not a dog doctor.
Yeah, mashallah, doctor. I don't think they would ever call you a veterinarian, but yeah, that would be a dog doctor, right?
Just the difference between the qaf and the kaf. The Arabic is so eloquent and so sensitive. And when you read the Qur'an, you will appreciate this so much. When we're sitting on this, when I say the qad and I say qad, I said, guys, not the kaf. Kaf is soft, but the qaf. So it's very, very important in practice.
So the dog is softer than the heart. Is that what you're saying?
It depends on the way you say it.
All right. Well, I think we put everything together pretty nicely. I was very happy to have Dr. Emily with us tonight. Doctor, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us tonight, Dr. Emily. We really appreciate that. And yeah, all right. And there's Dr. Adel. We really appreciate the dog. The heart doctor being with us. Yeah, I get
Dog doctor. The veterinarian.
And Dr. Sultan, Jazakallah khair for being with us tonight. Dr. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah to all of you guys. And we appreciate it.
And guide us with
Guidance
TV.
Yeah.
Guidance TV.
There you go. That's a good wrap. Let's take that and run with it. All right. It's been 10 years we've been on the air, guys, and so we'd like to encourage you to help us stay on for another 10 years. So here's something about that. And be sure to tune in tomorrow night when Dr. Emily will put on a different outfit and be with us as a new convert to Islam. Yeah. All right.
I'm excited.
Stay guided with Guide Us.
Guide Us TV.
Guidance TV.
imagine it's our 10th